Huh? What's that now? 2 under? Jesus. Golf's just mad, isn't it? Just hold an absolute worldie to go 2 under through 12 holes and then hit like a top. This is my pal Matt Pettit. We've been playing golf together for about 6 years, and in that time Matt has got much better at golf. His handicap has gone from 12 to 2, so I thought it'd be a good idea to go and play golf with him and find out how he's improved so much. Alright, how's it going? I'm at Hunstanton. Unfortunately, my microphone disagreed.
Not ideal.
So this video is going to be a mix of stuff that I captured on the day and a video call that Matt and I had to fill in the bits that the microphone missed. I've learnt loads of really useful stuff from talking to Matt and making this video, so I hope you do as well from watching it.
Probably started playing golf properly around like 13, 14, and then probably around like 17, 18, probably got into it more competitively. I think my first handicap was around like 18. Stayed around there for a little while, the occasional shot. And then when I moved to Burley, it started kind of dropping from then. Kind of plateaued at 12 for a little while.
Yeah.
Thinking like that was quite good. I'd like to get to single figures, but not sure I'm able to. You know, all the old guys saying, "Oh, you can't get low with that swing. You need to change your grip and all this stuff." But like, I didn't really want to. I just wanted to play the way that like I play.
Can you describe your golf game to me when you were off 12?
So I'd say I went from having kind of quite a bit like hooky low like draw off the tee, like
Yeah.
with my irons, to be fair. Didn't hit a very like high ball flight. Hit it a fair distance, but a bit all over the shop. Putting and chipping, lottery. But I'd say like some days it'd be good, some days 3 putts all day.
And so that progression from 12 to 2, were there kind of periods where your handicap fell like pretty quickly?
Whenever I've had a little chop of like more than 1 or 2 shots, it's always been like, oh God, like just trying to like maintain where you are, and you feel like an imposter because you feel like, oh, there's no way I'm not good enough to play off this handicap. We had a conversation before around like when I stand on the first tee, think like, and people come up to me who are off like 15, 20 and be like, oh, we're going to see how good proper player plays. And like, I feel pressure to like show them that I'm good enough.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, normal golf.
Yeah, like I remember having that conversation because I felt it 100% the same. It's like, even though you're off that handicap, you feel like the actual people who are off that handicap are so much better. Like in my mind,
a proper two rather than me just manage to get there somehow.
Yeah, but obviously, you know, it's the same, isn't it? Like you are off that handicap for a reason. What have you kind of done to like get over that imposter syndrome at each stage that's happened?
Still trying, I'd say. There's definitely some rounds. It's just try not to think about anyone else, like, and just play the shot that you want to hit, and not try to hit a shot to show everyone how good you are. I just hit the shot that's going to put you in the best position. Like the second shot at Milton is over water. Like the safe thing to do is just hit a 7, like bundle a 7-iron over and have a wedge onto the green. There's definitely a few times that I've got like a 5-wood out just to get closer to the green, put yourself in loads of danger for no real reason. And like just think back, like, why was I doing that? I wasn't going to get to the green. Instead I have a wedge onto the green. Like just so I think it's just about just hitting the shot that's going to not put you in trouble.
Yeah, so rather than thinking like, oh, I'm a 2 handicapper now, so I should be like going for this, I should be hitting it like this, you just keep playing your own game.
Yeah, exactly. But it's much easier said than done.
Yeah.
You get drawn into it quite easily, and then you realise it's only after you hit the shot, it's like, oh, what have I done? So stupid.
Have you experienced any kind of like longer plateaus in that period of coming down where you felt like you're sort of stuck, or even you've like gone up half a shot or a shot or whatever?
Yeah, I feel like I was off like 5 and 6, like 5, 6, and then down to 4 for quite a while. And probably feel like that's probably where, like, if I was to look at my own game, I'd probably say that's where I probably feel like I should be. Like, I know, like, I know I am like up there and like off 2, but I feel like, I probably feel like I'm a 4 player playing off 2. But that's that mindset thing, right? I feel like it allows you that little bit of like 1 bad hole, whereas off 2, you don't really get that leeway. But which makes it a lot less fun at times especially when you make a double on the first. You're like, right, that's it. Just scratch golf from here on in.
Yeah. Do you find that you've had to kind of shift your like mindset and strategy like based on that kind of stuff that, you know, you can't really sort of, I guess you can afford to have some bad holes because you can make birdie and stuff, but did you approach like a round of golf differently than you would have done when you might have been off for 6?
Oh yeah, massively. So I feel like one of the biggest things I've sort of changed is like if I make a double on the first hole, obviously you're livid, but you know that you can still go around, like having done it a few times before, you know you can go around like most of the course like under par. So like you can like put a spell together of like just try and get some pars, don't go after birdies and they'll just come. Like if you try and chase, then it just falls apart completely. Like so you just got to keep playing normal golf and then just hope like it's there that day. Sometimes it just isn't there like at all, and that's fine. But yeah, it's just like having that confidence and looking back on rounds where like started badly and actually been like 3 over through 4 holes and finished 1 over. You know, I can do that. Whereas when I was off 6 and 7, if I was 4 or 5 over after 9, I'd be like, oh well, that's the round over. I can't come back from this. So yeah, just having the confidence just to not chase.
Yeah. So obviously it's a bit of a cliche, but you kind of just take it like one hole and one shot at a time, regardless of what score you're on.
Yeah, basically, like the biggest thing is not making double bogeys. Like if you have a bad hole and make a bogey, that's all right. And like there's definitely a hole that Hunstanton that like summarizes that perfectly. Like
oh yeah.
So just making a bogey, like just don't make double. Find a way of not making a double. And then
I don't know how you found a way to not make double on that hole.
I know.
Golf's just mad, isn't it? Just hold an absolute worldie to go 2 under through 12 holes, and then hit like.
That's why you don't try new things.
And then hit like a top. But you'll probably still make par. I find this reassuring.
I don't.
Yeah, but I don't know. You've hit a couple of like not great shots today, but still 2 under par.
At the moment, there's lots that can happen.
Hit that drive 103 yards if you're wondering.
Thank you very much. There's knockdown ones, don't go as far as earlier.
Took a bit too much off it. It makes you feel any better. There was another ball right next to yours, so someone else has probably done it. Yeah, dug it out. Couldn't do a lot more, I don't think. Back in play.
Up and down.
What you got?
173.
Into quite a breeze. Wow. Oh, shot. Go on. Nice. If you hold that, that's going to be a hell of a 5.
Sure will.
Oh, what a 5.
Yes.
So you hit the top off the tee, dug it out to the fairway, hit 2 balls into the junk over there. You still walked off with a 5.
Up and down.
What was that you said about short game earlier?
Exactly.
So what counts? Fair play.
So yeah, that's like even if you're having a shocker, just make a bogey and get out, and then it's salvageable. Then as soon as you start making doubles, then it's just game over.
Yeah, because I mean, I'd say that was kind of like the biggest difference probably between our scores on that day. Like a lot of holes we were sort of matched or whatever, but you didn't make anything worse than a bogey, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I had like a triple and at least one other like disaster hole, and that pretty much added up to the whole difference between our scores.
Yeah.
So don't make doubles or worse.
Yeah. Just stop making doubles. It's easy. That's my advice.
And what things do you think have actually like made the difference in terms of you going from 12 down to 2?
Like regular and consistent practice, like focusing on different parts of the game each time. So like short game is the biggest area that I've got better at since like for me of 12 to now. I get up and down so much more than I used to.
Yeah, definitely.
And like when I miss, and it means that when you miss greens now, I'm not worried. Whereas before, if I missed the green that I should have gone on 2, I was then like tensing up, thinking, "Oh God, I'm probably going to make a bogey," and then you end up making double. Whereas now, if I'm just off the green, thinking I'm still making a 4 or like a par.
Yeah.
So it's just it breeds confidence, like having like when you know that like you're testing yourself in like practice and hitting as many chips as I probably hit on a like weekly basis. Like you just know that you can do it.
How many chips?
I don't know. Like in summer, I'd like to go like twice a week to have like probably like an hour, probably chipping at least a week. Like after work, just chill, and just practice like the easy ones, practice the hard ones, practice like different like lofts, like high ones, like little stubby ones.
How do you actually structure that practice? Like, have you got particular drills or games and stuff that you do, or do you just kind of stand there and like hit chip?
Yeah, so like I kind of make stuff up as I go along. So I do a little bit like like a par 18, like the getting up and down. How many times out like 18? How many times out of 18 can I get up and down? Like where you do a few easy, a few medium, a few hard ones. Like put yourself in the crap. Don't like give yourself nice easy chips. Like just see how you deal with it. I do like 3 balls. I have 6 balls down, and I'll do 3 balls low and 3 balls high, and then like look at like so I use like yellow balls or white balls for like high or low, and then like you can see like what shot shape for that shot like has worked.
So all to the same target.
All to the same target, yeah. And then you can just see which sort of shot you should be hitting, and then when you get to a similar thing on the course, you think, oh, okay, this feels like it's a high shot, or low tricky one.
Yeah, I like that. And with the par 18 thing, so you obviously putt out as well.
Yeah. Sometimes it depends how like keen I am. Like so, sometimes I putt out. Sometimes I basically like it's within 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah.
I kind of say yes, all right.
Yeah, fair enough. And in terms of that high-low thing, and just your game in general, like do you use one club for each shot? Like how does it all kind of work for you?
Yeah, so like I always use 60 from anything within 50 yards the green. Like from that from Liam Robinson's thing. Like I just stuck with that after that, because before then I was picking up 50, 54, 60 and just trying to, and it feels so much easier just to have that one club that you feel really confident with, and then hitting those low and high ones so you know you can hit any shot with them. Rather than trying to think, okay, I'm trying to bump it at 50 and next thing you play it through the green.
Yeah, so you could just go and practice and you don't ever really need your 60.
Yeah. Which makes practicing much easier as well, right? You just have one club go around the green rather than having like taking all your wedges with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well then. So I feel like your putting has improved a lot.
Yeah.
Do you practice putting much?
So this is a new putter.
Right. What's that replaced?
That's replaced a Scotty Cameron Futura, whatever that's called.
And this is what, Spider?
But that was a centre shafted putter, and this one is just an old school Spider. So
Right.
it's gone back to traditional.
Not centre shafted.
Yeah, and so I went to centre shafted because I kept missing the little tiddlers.
Okay.
And it helped me to go back and forward, whereas actually it just meant that I was pushing everything.
Right.
So I just got it off the shelf at Burley, and then thought, oh, this is good.
All right.
And then so I probably should have been fitted. This is my what thing.
So you got fitted for this one or no?
No. Still no. Just tried out putting green. That was much better. So it's early days for this one.
Right, but do you practice putting much? That was
the question. Yeah, so it's similar to chipping. So I'd always go down and like, let's say to Jem, I go for chipping a putt. So I just do like 45 minutes chipping, half an hour putting.
Yeah.
And then off I go.
And with the putting, do you do anything like drills, anything technical, or you just kind of
3 foot like all around the hole? So like trying to get 25.
25 in a row, right?
Which is normally like there's an issue if that doesn't happen, because generally don't do too crazy like putts. They're pretty flat, so just to get the confidence.
Do you have just 4 of them?
Just 4, yeah. And then do 6 foot where you've got to go 2 for 3, so keep going around.
Okay.
And the same thing, so 25, but you've got to get 2 from 3 to keep progressing.
Right, so you count 2.
So as long as you hit hole 2,
right,
you carry on.
Okay.
And just builds confidence when you're on that.
Yeah.
When you're on the course, you actually just feel like you know what you're going to do.
What about sort of practicing your long game? Like, do you hit many balls?
Not loads. There's a grass area at Milton where there's like 180 yard like grass like range, and I probably use that more than I use the driving range, just to hit different flags like 50, 75, 100, like 160, I think. And I feel like it's just that gives you an idea of how you're hitting it without like I do hit it. I do go to the range and obviously work on my woods and stuff, but I spend more time just trying to hit different shapes to like 160 flag and like punch shots and just messing around really, but keep it as fun as possible.
I know you've had lessons,
Yeah.
but you're not kind of having lessons like every week all the time, are you?
No, I probably have like 5 lessons. I get a block which probably lasts me about 18 months. So like I don't like to think too much about it. So like I like to have like 1 or 2 things I'm working on, and then that's it. Any more, and then my brain just explodes.
Right. Okay.
So, and within those lessons, it's very much a case of like, this is my grip. Like, I don't want to change my grip. How can you help me get better with what I've got, rather than like just changing the wheel?
Yeah. So if you've got those 5 lessons that are lasting like a year and a half, what makes you think, oh, actually, it's time for a lesson? Is it when things are going wrong that you go to seek help to try and get it back on track?
It's probably more of a confidence thing. So like, if I don't know, like when it's all going well, I don't really think about anything when I'm playing golf. I just hit, which is a lovely feeling. Like, but then like when you start thinking about stuff, that's when like I then go. So like, I'm not technical at all about golf. I don't know anything about, like, I know stuff, but I don't know how to articulate any of that stuff. Whereas like, if I'm thinking about what I should do, it's probably wrong. It's probably like I'm then forming a bad habit. So I'd much rather go and just like say, this is what I'm thinking about doing, and then Suzanne just says, no, I don't do that. Do this, and then like you do work on that for a little while, and then you don't think about it again.
You're not like big into kind of videoing your swing and like launch monitor and that sort of stuff.
No, literally just when I got fitted for my driver, I was practicing with my driver. I went in the studio a little bit and started to try and do that, but I'd rather just like know how it feels rather than like knowing numbers.
Obviously, you've got from 12 to 2. What do you think you need to do to get like the next step and get to scratch?
I don't know. I've got no idea. Like the thing is, because I haven't really had a plan, like any time I play golf about how to get lower, I've just like either practiced or when I needed to, like bought new clubs.
Lovely. Yeah, nice. Changed quite a lot of equipment as well since we first started playing together.
So yeah, fitted for irons for the first time when I was at Burley, so probably 4 or 5 years ago, 4 years older, I reckon he's now.
So you were off like...
So I was off about 10 when I changed, and then immediately just felt so much more, so much more under control with my irons, rather than not given a set of irons before and just thought, oh, okay, I can hit these because they're quite nice and they're a good brand or whatever.
When you had to fit in, did you find out that the ones you had were kind of not right for
Yeah,
you?
they were completely the wrong clubs for me. They're very forgiving clubs for like a mid-range handicapper.
Yeah.
So because of that, you couldn't really get the control in the same way.
Right. So what have you got now?
So Callaway X Forged.
Okay, yeah.
Which like I went for the fitting not knowing what I wanted, which is always the best thing to do, and just like they were so much better than any other irons I've tried.
Right.
So yeah, I haven't looked back.
And then you've also changed woods, like more recently.
So yeah, so I had TaylorMade M2 before, which was great, but got fitted at American Golf, and yeah, so they basically fitted me for 12-degree driver, so I used to hit down on the ball.
You used to hit it pretty low a lot, didn't you?
Yeah,
generally?
so I basically got a bit of a cricket, as I was saying earlier, that cricket sort of cover drive shot.
Yeah.
So I feel like they compensated for me hitting it down on the ball rather than telling me that. I mean, it's not their job to tell me, right? But
well, part of a good fitting is like...
Yeah. So whereas I went to Milton and got fitted, and they told me that you don't need a new drive, they need a new swing. So they gave me 2 or 3 things to go and work on, and then went back and then gained an extra like 30 yards rather than just...
Without changing the driver?
So 20 yards without changing, and an extra 10 with changing.
Nice. And so what have you got now?
So Titus TSI 3.
Right.
Um,
what sort of loft is that?
So that's 9 degree.
But you're hitting up on it now, I'm guessing.
So now hitting up on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, complete change of swing, which feels still a bit alien, but we're getting there.
But in your experiences you've had, the equipment has obviously made...
The equipment makes a huge difference, like a huge difference.
Yeah.
This drive especially, you can hit out of the toe of it and it's still absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, if you're hitting out of the toe of a club that isn't been fitted for you, then it's going anywhere.
Yeah.
It keeps under control so much more.
Fair.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like I'm just playing golf to try and have fun, like, as much as possible. And like the more I get away from that, then like it's just going to go downhill, right? As some people, I don't know, because someone knows that.
Yeah.
So like I'm just trying to just enjoy it. Like if I'm off scratch, then I'm still an amateur playing golf. Like nothing's actually going to change apart from golf gets a bit harder. If I'm off like +2, same thing, right? Like nothing's going to change. I'm still going to be playing golf with my mates on the weekend. Like nothing actually changes. So like I try not to think about that at all and just try and play. Sounds so cliche, like every shot like well, and then that tells me how good I am at golf. Like
Yeah, I think that's the only way to do it, really. I have learned that the hard way.
you can't fail if you don't have any targets, right?
Yeah, so like you've never kind of set targets of like, oh, by the end of the season I'd like to be off 6 or whatever.
Yeah, okay, so that's probably a bit of a lie. So I have set targets. Like I kind of have a little note section on my phone that like I have like targets, but they're pretty broad targets. So this season I want to stay up 2. Like if I can stay playing on 2, then I'll be really happy. Like if I can get to 1 at some stage, that'd be great. But it's just a case of like just to monitor it more so than as an actual target. I'm not like killing myself to get to it. It's just a case if it happens, it happens. Like I'm just focusing on just enjoying it. And like if I don't enjoy it, there's definitely times I don't go to the range and hit an hour and a half or an hour on chips every week. It's very much a case of like when the mood strikes. Like I'm not a professional golfer, so like I've got to do day job and like home life first. So if time allows, then I'll go and do those things. But actually, like sometimes, some weeks, I mean, I haven't been to the range, I haven't swung a club all week, and it's Thursday now. How
often are you playing on average?
Probably like once like evening after work in summer, and then once on the weekend. So then it'd be two times I'm playing, and then ideally a couple of practices of like an hour would be like more than enough.
And we were talking before about kind of how your approach to shots had changed a bit. So rather than kind of trying to avoid like the trouble, now sort of trying to like commit to hitting a good shot and sort of then just seeing what happens.
Yeah, so like I feel like the first tee, everyone kind of has those feelings, right? Of like, okay, like out of bounds left, okay, like right, don't go left, don't go left, don't go left. And same on like 18th tee when you're holding on to a good round. Like my mates would definitely, and you, I'm sure, will definitely say that I'm a bit of a like bottle job at times, probably in the past.
I would never ever say that.
But like it's definitely true. Like like it's like mental part of like the game that probably is a challenge. And there'll be times that like you're standing on 18 on good score and just shove it straight in the water. And that's because I was thinking like, oh, I don't want to mess up. Whereas actually like, if you're going to mess up anyway, it's better just to commit to the shot. And then if you've given it everything, it's actually loads better for you than if you've been scared about hitting it and you haven't really committed to hitting the shot and it's still on in the water anyway. So like if you're going to miss, at least miss trying to play the normal golf shot.
Yeah.
And I feel like since I've started to do that, I've started being a much straighter. And like those shots have like actually been executed, whereas
just like that,
I don't know, like when you're a bit scared, you kind of either like you don't fully commit, you kind of like you're a bit late, or and you're just forcing it in the trouble. You hit the one shot that you don't want to hit.
Yeah,
so you try not to hit it.
How do you actually like change that? So say you're stood on that 18th tee or that first tee, obviously you're still aware that the trouble's there and you still don't want to hit it in there. So like what's the kind of process in terms of shifting into that like more positive target focused mindset?
Just like the standard thing, right? So on most shots in a round, you'll be aiming at a really small target, so then you miss small. Whereas when you get to that scary moment where like you end up thinking about the hazard rather than the fairway or like the center of the fairway. So like it's just it's nothing special, it's just basics.
Fade a little bit.
Like,
yeah,
like imagine it's any other hole, imagine it's like the widest fairway on the course. Like don't aim at the fairway, aim at the middle of the fairway, and then if you miss right, you're still going to be okay. Whereas if you aim into the fairway, you're in trouble.
So just pick like an exact target and just commit to that.
And it literally just commit. It's more of a like I think it's just more of it's a mental block just to like commit with the swing, like the swing you've been doing all round. Just
Yeah.
don't be scared and like try and steer it and like, I don't know, almost try and play a safe shot, because there isn't really such thing. Like just commit to whatever shot you said you're gonna hit.
And finally, so if you had someone else next to you now who's off 12 and wants to get down to 2, what would be the kind of biggest piece of advice that you would offer them?
I would say, like, don't just like go to the range and just hammer balls for the sake of it. Like actually, I say organised, but like semi-organised practice, like the structured practice. Short game, especially. Short game's the one that's going to like save those shots. Like if you can get up and down 25% of the time or 50% of the time, then
Sounding nice.
you're going to save so much more shots than hitting an extra 10 yards off the tee.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to focus like on like trying to hit 300 yards or whatever, and like literally, if you get up and down like that 2 or 3 extra times, that's going to help you much more than hitting it that little bit further.
Yeah, I mean, your short game to me, it like feels like it's improved like massively, and I'd say long game has improved a bit, but not like in comparison.
Yeah. Well, we played at Milton, didn't we? And like I played pretty averagely, but got up and down. I hit 6 greens and reg and shot 2 over. I was either in the rough, hitting it, missing greens. Like, I didn't look like I was playing very well, but like it just shows what's important.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I expect you to get up and down every time now, and particularly with putts inside like, I don't know, 6 or even 8 feet. I just expect them all to go in.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah, it doesn't always feel like that, but yeah, it happens a lot more than it did.
But yeah, do you feel much more confident over putts now?
Yeah, like yeah, completely, and it's because of that practice. Like, you know, and again, confidence. I think in the past, going back to like scared of missing, like if you're scared of missing, you're like that tension's in your arms or like in your body, like, and you just then like just push it or like completely like yank the putt. Whereas like just think, okay, this is what I know I can hold this putt. Like just commit to the shot, and then sometimes it goes in.
Well, a lot of the time I've seen, yeah, keeping it simple and relaxed is kind of fairly important. But I suppose the practice you're doing, A, it's making you better, but B, it kind of allows you to actually have that confidence like based in something. Because if you never practice putting and you're pretty crap at putting, it's hard to like convince yourself to be confident still in the green, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a reason why you're nervous when on the green when you're playing off like 12, 15, when you don't really go to the putting green like during the week, and like that's why you're scared of missing a putt, because you haven't got a clue like where it's going to go. Or whereas, you know, if you're confident with your like putting stroke and you've been to the like putting green a couple of times, like, you know, it's all in a good place, then suddenly more of them do go in. And with those like 10, 15 footers, like you're not scared of like, you're not just lagging up to the hole, you're still going to hold the putt, and if it goes 3 foot past, then you'd probably rather that than leaving it short. And yeah, it means you commit more to it, and then therefore some of them trickle in.
Yeah, wicked. Cheers, pal.
No worries. What I didn't say was that like last weekend or whatever, I had a match against like a beat scratch match. I was 7 over through 9, and all square, and I won on the last. I was 3 up with 4 to play, and then it was all square going on the last, and I won with a 6.
No way.
So I was like, yeah, there's still that shocker is still definitely in there.
What did you shoot? Do you know?
For like 14 over, something like that. Just
yeah. I mean, what do you class as like a normal bad round now versus like, oh my god, that's embarrassing?
Like anything over like 10 over, like, is embarrassing. Whereas if I can stay like in the 70s, like sometimes I won't be happy with it, but actually, like a few years ago, I'd be delighted with a round in the 70s. So like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's amazing how quickly your mindset shifts to like, oh, that's not very good. It's like, oh, I shot 70 something. That'll do.
I know, it's crazy, that, isn't it? I think that is one of the things you have to be careful about, because that can sap a bit of joy. Thanks, pal.
So, no worries, mate. Good to see you.
In a bit.
Ciao.
I hope you found that useful. I'll pop a link to Matt's Instagram down below so you can go and follow him there. As well as the stuff that Matt said, a few things I noticed were that our good shots are no different. So Matt beat me by 8 shots on the day that we played, but he didn't hit a single shot that I couldn't hit.
Just like that.
But the difference was that I hit a couple of really costly shots, whereas he didn't.
Yep.
He did hit bad shots, but they tended to not be that costly, and he would just get over it, move on, and try not to hit 2 bad shots in a row. 2 handicappers can still chunk it.
Good dib there, isn't it?
Yeah, where was the wolf? Right here. He really does seem to take it one shot at a time, which I think is really important because it's so easy to turn one bad shot into 2 or 3 if you're angry about hitting the bad shot or trying to like make up for it. So say you hit a bad drive and you're in a bad position, rather than just accepting it and getting it back into play, you're trying to hit like a worldie to recover, and before you know it, you've racked up a big number. And yeah, the biggest difference between our games was the short game. Like Matt's short game was just way better. Clippy, wasn't it? Bit clippity doo dah. Like particularly the short ones, kind of 3, 4, 5 footers, I feel like Matt is never going to miss, whereas for me, they feel quite stressful at the moment. So he was 1 under par with 2 holes to go. The last 2 holes were long par 4s playing straight into the wind. So let's see how he got on and if he could finish under par. Yeah, good job. Great strike. So unlucky. Half a yard this way. Go. Well, I just went on that line, it needed to. So, 1 over?
1 over. Frustrating.
Yeah.
But you can ask me out.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Not too bad.